Alright, just testing. Just testing. We had a little problem with our Honda camera. OBS has been experiencing some bugs. I get it hanging. I get camera issues. Maybe I have to uninstall and reinstall my OBS or something. Just seems like there's a lot of problems lately. That's the software we use to stream with, to connect my stream to Twitch. It's been a little bit shoddy lately. Today just one of my cameras just randomly didn't work for no reason. I had to restart it like 3 times. Then it had a huge, basically it just like locked up and wouldn't close. Could be something with my computer, but I don't think so. Anyway, we will get started here shortly. Let me check one thing before we get started. I want to check my computer for free space. How much free space do I have? That could be an issue. Oof. Does anybody know how many gigabytes of free space you need for the computer to run smoothly? Anybody out there? We'll ask this question a little later when there's more people. I'm not sure. Alright. How many recommended gigs of free space do we need to not have issues? So I got 2 challenges, guys. We've got 2 challenges. I need to get a hard disk, external hard disk. My computer's pretty full right now. Alright, Asterbait, I thought you'd know. Guys, it's Weird Wednesday. We're taking challenges. A little bit of a late start due to a technical issue. Rapunzel and Troll on a Roll. Our friends from Russia. Rapunzel, are you really from Russia? Troll claims he's from Palau now. Alright, Repun and Troll challenges. We'll get started here. Accepting a challenge. Weird Wednesday, unusual openings. Yesterday I won our rapid tournament. Though it seemed very dominant, my 7-0 score wasn't quite what it seemed. My first win was a forfeit victory, and I had like 3 lucky endgame wins. I was actually in danger in one of the games very seriously against Senchess, nearly lost or possibly lost in one moment. So I don't feel that yesterday's 7-0 result was all that it was cracked up to be. Unusual openings here. The bird. I love the bird just for fun, but definitely better than the Grob. The Borg. Borg is Grob reversed. Aldisto? Wait. My game with Aldisto was okay. Stonewall Dutch. Though I looked up the opening, and it turned out we had played Theory. He played it pretty well. I left Book in that game, interestingly. That was one of my better games, Asterbait. Alright, 5 plus 3, it's chess 960. F4, D5, reverse Dutch. The Borg Collective. Been watching a lot of Star Trek with my son lately. He's really into it. Alright, Knight F3, Bishop G4. It doesn't really leave us with any options. Like, you pretty much have to play E3 here, I guess. It's the only move. I guess you could like allow him to take and play something like B3. But I think this is established. Bishop G4 is a solid move against every kind of offbeat opening, really. D5, Bishop G4 against everything. You can almost play it universally. Here, definitely a good solid option for black. But Repun's openings are quite decent. What was that quote I saw you put in the stream earlier? Asterbate? Bobby Fischer quote? It sounded like Fischer as a little boy or something. If you resurrected the world champions from the past, they wouldn't perform well because their openings. It was a very naive sort of quote. He must have been asked the question when he was like 14 or something. It seemed to me. It was like a 14-year-old answering the question. As if like people could really be resurrected. Like literally answering the question. Bishop e5 like a Nimzo. It's an interesting approach. I mean, I'm fighting for e5 with this move, whereas like bishop e2 doesn't fight as hard for e5. Antonio, welcome. Thanks for being a subscriber. Guys, my tournament starts on Friday. 95. Bishop d1, knight d7. No. Queen d6 is also an option. Interesting. c3. c3 po. Huh. What do we do? h3? But I mean, h3, does it really matter? Ultimately. I believe in development, I guess. He can play a6 now. Bishop takes c6, queen c6, knight e5, bishop d1, knight c6. That's good for black, probably. Of course, it costs him time to do this. Can you please play with me after this game? We have to play the people who challenge me in regards to who's a subscriber to my stream and what order people. You know, it's not. This is not an anarchy here. Sri Nandan. This is not anarchy. Donald Trump is not president of my stream. I have to adhere to the law and order. Speaking of which, we can get political again. I saw some article, was it yesterday? It's kind of absurd, like Donald Trump purporting to be a law and order president. He's like the biggest criminal in the world. Anyways, castles, e6. So you're not striving for e5. We're just going to develop. I take the challenges according to who's a subscriber and then the order in which I receive them. Systematic. This is interesting. Stopping bishop takes c6 with the knight takes c6. Although it seems kind of unnecessary at this point. Overkill. He's overprotected c6. What if I played like c3, a6, bishop a4? This is a little weird. That's the point today. Troll to roll, and I've got a challenge from A13611385. An original name. Is that your phone number? I think that's his phone number. Let's see. United States area code 361. I mean, there's no area code. No, you need an area code. There's just an exchange and then the 4 numbers. So what are we going to do? F6, he's playing a very mature style setup here. D-pinning. Classic Dutch maneuver, Queen E1. He may very well castle long. Actually, his options are open. So, with that in mind, I don't know what we're supposed to do. ultimately play for e4. And I'm down to 45 seconds. Are you even serious? And this is crazy. Yeah, he's 1100 playing like this. It's difficult to believe. Yeah, it's supposed to be a kid who's 1100. But his opening is way too good to be 1100. I mean, I've already given this speech like 1,000 times. Then he makes like really bad tactical mistakes sometimes. He plays the opening like he's like 1900. And then I guess the rest of the game like he's really 1100. It's certainly possible. If you just devoted only, you know, if you only thought about the opening, only studied the opening, put no thought into the rest of the game, I still think it would be better than 1100 though. I don't really like my rook on f3, honestly. I don't see what it does there. h6 is a neat move too. Potentially very strong. Look at that maneuver. g5. Kind of positionally advanced. Then g4 I didn't expect. Still, not that bad. And he has to be at least 1400. I mean, it's crazy. But this is not the first game I've questioned his rating. Based on speed and skill level, you can't be 1,000 and play like this. It's physically impossible. It's actually similar to Troll, in a way. This other guy who's challenged me second. Why do you play like Troll? A little bit, stylistically. And they come together. It's funny how they arrive at the same time when my stream starts. Maybe there's a conspiracy. Maybe Troll and this guy are really like friends. Troll is his mentor. He plays a little bit like Troll, like really, really well in the opening. Troll does that in chess 960. Actually, they're very similar in that respect. My bishop, my queen is almost misplaced here now. The bishop takes c6, damaging his pawn structure. This doesn't win though. I would have rook f7, but it doesn't win. This doesn't really do anything. I have a slightly better ending at best. He hung his a6 pawn. And that's again like extremely similar to Troll. Troll's only weakness is in tactics. I never thought about it till now. How much those guys have in common in a way. Conspiracy theory. Well, now I'm happy to trade queens. I'm up 2 pawns. Maybe I'll take 3. Take 3 and call me in the morning. It was kind of a greedy move there. He could have played bishop d6. He should play bishop d6, I guess. Now he ends up with like worse. It's lost. Worse king position. But I mean, until 5 moves ago, he was doing fine. Maybe check. Still, he's pretty good for 1100. Even if after hanging all those pawns, he's decent. So anyway, he doesn't need any work on his openings, that's for sure. Oh, I faked you out. Nope. gonna make 3 queens. Torture the opponent. Now he's stopped. It would be good to resign and let some other people play. I'm not going to make 3 queens. In view of other players waiting to play. If this was personal, I would make 3 queens. It's protest. I hate it when people don't resign. I try to resign in a timely fashion. Troll and a roll. Is troll and a roll really connected? They have the similar ability to play the opening really well. Troll and roll is really good, and bishop and knight checkmate, man. I haven't done one in a while. Good suggestion. It's a good suggestion. Okay, one time when we have extra pieces, we can try to do a bishop and knight checkmate. Yeah, weird opening Wednesday. Why am I playing c6 and like blocking my bishop on a8 at the expense of the other one, I guess? But this is sort of gross. It's not a good opening then. It'd be better to do b6 and then bide my time for this bishop on b8. Now my a8 bishop is blocked. It's pretty bad. Where's my king? My king is safe. Slav exchange. Of course my bishop at a8 is bad, but his is bad too, so it works both ways. Both have a static problem. Make your bishops great again. Make America great again. I was reading today how the people in Texas are waiting for 11 hours to vote early in the presidential election. 11 hours standing in line to vote for president. The governor of Texas should be like considered criminal. I mean, there's no way that anybody should have to wait for 11 hours to vote. That's totally criminal. It's unbelievable. Make your bishops great again. Made me think of that. Greatest country in the world. Not really. I live in Budapest, Hungary. But it's hard to be an American and see what's happening over there. E6. It's hard to turn on the internet every day and read the news from the United States. Alright, we're going to castle. I'm going to get my exchange trapped with like bishop a3. Unusual openings, guys. We're taking challenges 5-3 through 7+3. Princess Chess, what's up? I didn't even notice you. Good morning. And morning is right. Princess Chess, you missed our tournament yesterday, where I luckily finished first. But I had a forfeit win, and some of my games were a little shaky, so I don't consider it a really truly dominant performance. Though I did win a tough game against Schieberspieler. He probably shouldn't have lost. The ending was a knight end game. He could have held it if he played a little better. Mr. Chess Manager. The Chess Manager. Being a chess manager is probably better than being a chess player, I would assume. Better money. Better financial prospects. The Real Weird Wednesday, chess knight 60 against Troll. Hey, what's up? I was just mentioning your knight in game. I wasn't really convinced by my performance yesterday, although it looks good to be 7-0. I had a forfeit win and a couple of shaky games, like against Zen Chess. I thought he was going to take on c5. I guess I could take with the rook, though. I was seriously thinking of taking with the pawn. Princess Chess, yeah, I was hard at work. Oh, yeah. You ruined my streak last week. You ruined my streak last week. That wasn't nice. I was pissed. Princess Chess. Streak spoiler. So if dc5, I take with the queen now. For some reason Wednesdays, maybe people don't like Weird Wednesday, but Wednesdays are really slow on the stream. D takes c5, queen takes c5, or pawn takes c5. Pawn takes bishop e5 I didn't really like that much. Give me more stable control of the center. I guess this is better from the structural perspective. How would you take back Schieberspieler? A big believer in pawn structure? Schieber would have to take with the queen. Style in chess accounts for a lot of decisions. I wonder if anyone's ever really delved into the topic of chess style, playing style, in a book. I can't really think of anything, but there must be. It all depends on our hierarchy of importance we put on different concepts, like pawn structure, king safety, open versus closed positions, imbalance. Twitch Prime for Pikachu, Mr. Chess Manager. What? Your lesson, which would take place right now, became held online later, so I can be here on Weird Wednesdays. Oh. You're supposed to have a class that got moved? It got moved to later. Gotcha. Knight e5, strong move. Dominating the e5 square. Excellent. Nothing I can do about that. And now his other knight will come in very powerfully. White's superior control of e5. I mean, technically he doesn't have superior control of e5. But by being on the square, he owns it. It's like Monopoly. I'm starting to regret queen takes c5. Because right now I could be playing maybe knight d7, trading off that menacing knight. First of all. Yep. And I'm going to lose the tempo with knight d3. It looks like I should have played the other way. How's my rook doing on c8? I mean, is that relevant? You could come under a very strong attack on the king side. Then again, I have strong bishops too. Troll is always dominant in the opening. It's pretty dependable. Like, you know you're going to be worse in chess knight 60 for the first half of the game. It's like without doubt. Maybe 1 in 10 games did I ever get a decent position against him in the early part of the game. But it's ironic because people who play chess knight 60 don't like the opening theory. So it's just about like opening principles must be so strong for chess on a roll. I mean, troll on a roll. He's also underrated, but I think this is like a trolling rating. 1499. Okay, chess 960. Chess 960 is about 200 points lower than normal, so that would make him 1699. But doesn't make sense, you know. He's better at chess 960 than the other games, so he should be like probably at least 1700 in chess 960. He's totally obsessed with chess 960. I don't know why. I actually don't like it, honestly. It was okay as a novelty at first, but I'm sort of bored with it. I'm not as good at chess 960 as normal chess, and I find it tedious. But I'm willing to play it because it's probably constructive. It's probably good for your chess game. I don't think it'd be detrimental like other variants. Other variants could conceivably hurt your game. I don't see how playing horde chess is good for your game, or crazy house. I mean, I guess you can improve tactics with anything, but I'm afraid it would mess up my thinking. What's up, Asterbate? Likes to play chess against chess players, not their knowledge. I think he's disconnected or something. He never thinks this long. Good luck competing for my GM norm. Yeah, I'm going to play from Friday. We have to get off to a good start. Guys, there will be no stream from Friday. For the weekend, no streams. I think next week I'll possibly try to do a short morning stream, but I'm not sure which day. So we're going to have a little bit of a layoff. This is a strangely passive move by white. Knight d2. Retreating. Retreat. Why the retreat? Now 94. 94, 94. If he wants to give me a bishop, that's cool. Long range device. They're like North Korean missiles. These bishops are brutal. But I have rook takes d2, winning 2 pieces for the rook. Trolls. Achilles heel is the 2-move tactic. I win 2 pieces for a rook. Strangely similar to Rapunzel. Strong in the opening, but tactically, maybe just a conspiracy theory. What? I take back is here? Where? Where's I take back? Oh, what happened to Arsenal? I take back. I take back has nothing to do with Arsenal. Arsenal, like, insulted me, and I blocked him months and months ago. He was very rude, and he never apologized. But I take back, I think, just hasn't been around. Alright, so we've got challenges from Morales, Princess Chess. Those guys are, those peoples are subscribers to the stream. Arsenal thought that I was implying he was a computer after playing him like 75 games and doing lessons with him. He thinks that I'm accusing him of being an engine. So taking what I was saying out of context, he then freaked out and started to insult me verbally, at which point I basically banned him. You know, if he apologized or something later, it would have had no problem. But it's like, that was a long time ago. He's very combative. A very combative person, easily insulted and defensive, and he thinks that people are out to get him, I guess. Alright. I don't normally accuse people who have been playing on the stream for years of being engines and stuff. But he played this amazing move and I said, oh well, you know, what an amazing move or something, and then next thing I know, he thinks I seriously think he used a computer. Then he just freaks out. But I don't want to rehash it again. So it's the B5. But he's too difficult, man. He's too difficult. You know, too much emotional baggage. Constantly, you have to be very careful what you say or you hurt his feelings, you know? I have another friend like that. People like that are very difficult to deal with. It's like you gotta tiptoe around not to hurt their feelings. Constantly worried about what you say. You know what I'm talking about? Hypersensitive. So what are we going to play here for unusual opening? Well, we've got the Polish defense. Polish defense. All right, well, we'll take it on. You're playing the weird opening now. But it's better to play the Polish defense against knight f3 than other stuff. True. e4 may be white's best move. As I pointed out last stream, Garry Kasparov and Magnus Carlsen, among other people, have played this with black. I think Kasparov did, but I'm sure about Carlsen. Magnus actually played the St. George, though. I like a6. Here's the question. Is a6 better than bishop takes e4? Because bishop takes e4 is normal Polish defense. Consider it slightly better for white. Just a theoretical question. I don't know. I don't know. Dorian did a lot of analysis on this. He's the only person I know who's actually seriously done analysis on the Polish, refuting the Polish. But he's a guy who's obsessed with playing black openings. I mean, he did it from white's perspective, but I don't know what the secret is, though. Andras Dorian's conclusion was that white has a huge advantage. But all the lines I saw were very, very tactic-based. Bishop takes e4, of course. This is the main line. But I don't really know. I never really played either side of this, seriously. I played the Polish once in my life. Although I play it on the stream for fun. I don't remember the analysis here. I've played the Polish pretty much exclusively in Blitz. I remember one thing though, it seemed like knight c3 was somehow considered to be maybe not the best. Well, you don't want to block your pawns or something? Maybe you want to play c4? I don't know. But you know that I'm thinking about it now. The analysis I saw from Adorian was based on b4. So, I mean, here black's even worse. He has like a tempo less. It's one thing to play the Polish with white, you know, but to play it with black. Bishop f1 is passive. So I suppose I have to play like bishop a4. Let's say c4. Do I have tactics with bishop g5? See, this move I'm concerned, like bishop g5 might be overrated. Generally speaking, I don't like to play bishop g5 when there's no effective pin. And oftentimes it just leads to helping the opponent to exchange pieces. So I'm going to go with more natural development here. But Morales may have a point there. Maybe he could take on f3 and play like d5. What if you traded your bishop and then tried to fix my pawn on d4? Like this is a weakness. Bishop f3, queen f3, d5. Your development is really slow. Now we have d5 ourselves. This move, seeking exchanges, might be interesting for black. So this d5 would bottle him up, but he has bishop e4 in response. Then I go like bishop g5. I think we should try it. Only then bishop g5. You like that? Schieberspieler? In that line, bishop f3, queen f3, d5, cd5. He has some developmental problem. Maybe you're right. It's just better. But white's advantage is, you know, what is a big advantage to you is a very, very small advantage for most people. Probably. Black's still alive. Yeah, he's alive, right? But he's slightly worse. I wouldn't be surprised if there were games in this position. But I'm not sure what black should do now. As I said, bishop e4 trading pieces, but then bishop g5. I'll sack a piece on g5 if he goes h6, bishop h4, knight hg5, hg5, bishop g5. I'm thinking that might be enough, though I'm not 100% sure. Then we have pawn takes e6. Take back with the pawn. With no clear justification. White's real close to something now. I suppose just simply bishop f4. Well, I don't know what I'm threatening after bishop f4. Doesn't look like I have a clear threat. Does pawn e6 serve any purpose other than to trade off my strong pawn on d5? a3 is a move. Bishop f4 is a move. Rook e8 is an excellent move by black, by the way. Excellent move. Excellent. Stopping bishop e4. Prophylaxis. No, it's bad, says the opponent. Snake Benoni. Morales is playing the Snake Benoni now. So what do I do? Rook e8, queen e8, bishop c2, I guess. You can take it with a knight. I'm not sure. Benefit, that is. Change your username. You mouse slip with b4, Jim. You know what we're talking about. The Bugiev. d5 is stopping up his development. You know, he can't get his knight out, therefore the rook is stuck. So it leads to disharmony in the black family. This is an attempt to play knight a6, of course. Black is now going to begin to feel some discomfort. You might feel a slight pinch. Guys, we're taking challenges. 5-3 through 7+3. Tactics, wizard. Where is my tactic? Larry Christian calls it the student body attack. When we get all these pieces sort of ganging up. If we can gang up on one side of the board with all the pieces, it's just like you don't have to calculate. Here, however, not so simple. This exchange is really pissing me off. He's defending. Damn. About to lose on time. Totally screwed this. I just like made a random move. Knight d2. Now I'm just making random moves. The knight in e5 saves him by blocking everything up. Really not easy. Wait is better, but it's very tedious now and I have no time. He's defended brilliantly, to be honest. Relatively brilliantly. I have no time to think. Neither does he. Bishop c5. He has bishop c5. He misses it. He really would be an excellent bullet player. Oh my god. Sees everything. Totally unconvincing. I don't even know if I'm better in the final position. I guess I'm better. You're better, according to the engine. Wow. Can't believe black is better here. I mean, I know you're up a pawn, but that seems strange. Bishop h7 on move 30. Oh, God, yeah, of course. Queen c5 was stupid. I just was flagging. It says I have 12 seconds left. The engine says queen h4, but what does that do after knight g6? Yeah, I mean, he's fast. I don't know why he lost on time suddenly. I just don't have time to think. Orlevy. Okay, I've got challenges from Orlevy and Akshab. Akshab is a subscriber, so we'll take him first. And then we'll play Orlevy. If you guys are subscribers to the stream, we'll take your challenge first, normally, on Mondays and Wednesdays. Okay, it was degenerated into like a fast blitz game. No time to think. Let's try the black side of the unusual sort of line of the gorilla paths, or let's see what he does. Yeah, bishop h7 just wins. I didn't see it, obviously. My main concern was losing on time, so it was a whatever quick move I could see that didn't lose something. We had this... No, it was a different position. Okay, my goal on Wednesday is to play creative, unusual openings. Bronstein talks about knight f6, d4, d5. I don't think I can play d5 here. So what can we do against the Scotch that's, you know, of course you can do the Steinitz variation, which I don't know at all, but we can try it. I mean, I think I played it once. Consider it to be dubious for black, and I don't know the theory. We're attacking e4. I think white's mostly playing like knight b5 here. Is that right? They're probably quieter continuations. I have queen takes c, ugh. Ugh. Yeah. No, not what I meant to say. Queen takes e4 check. Bishop e2, queen c6, castles, and then there's some danger of my king getting trapped in the center. But I seriously doubt this is a critical continuation. I could just take with the D pawn. Is white better there? Actually, I don't know. You know, all three captures are possible. But I guess B takes queen. Queen D4 might be a problem in general. So maybe I have to do this. Our opponent is 1600 in turtle chess, 1200 in rabbit chess, and 1000 in bullet chess. This is rabbit chess. What is the time control? 5+3. No, it's blitz chess. What's your blitz rating? 1066. Funny, he doesn't have any blitz games. Either bullet or rapid. Yeah, this is the line that I was worried about. The queen takes g2, bishop f3. I can't do that. So now it's a question how to recapture. But I'm concerned about the pin. So d takes c, developing castles knight e7. No, I have to get my queen out of take. I guess I was looking at queen takes, castles. That's awkward too. Well, pretty much whatever I do here is going to be slightly awkward. D takes, queen takes, bishop takes c3. The main problem is how do I get out of the E file? D takes, castles, bishop takes c3, b takes c. I guess I can block with the bishop on e6. Seems like the safest option. How am I going to get my king out of the center there? Black grabs a pawn, but it's risky. Now this diagonal. So there goes castling kingside. I can plug up the file with bishop e6. But castling is the problem. How do I castle either way? I'm stuck in the center. I guess also f4, f5 could potentially be dangerous. That's why, I mean, nobody plays this line. You grab a pawn, but you lose the initiative with queen h4. I remember somebody wrote a book, I think, or a pamphlet. There definitely might be a book on it. Bishop e3 seems wrong, though. Now what? Knight e7. Try to develop. If I can castle kingside, I'm up a pawn. His queenside structure is smashed. So that's good too. I do online coaching. Yeah, I have to. I don't really do live coaching here in Hungary. Hungarian people generally want a Hungarian speaking coach. And my prices are a little too high for the Hungarian market. So I mostly teach online. Bishop d3. It's much more convenient now with COVID, of course, teaching online. When I lived in the United States, I used to teach schools and stuff like that, but it was very hard and I didn't really like it, honestly. Okay, so bishop d3, queen g4, f3. My queen is a problem. Queen e5, f4, also a problem. Queen d5, c4. So pretty much anywhere I go, I'm losing to another 1,000 player on time. think this is probably best. Your ex-coach? I can speak Hungarian, but I mean, I'm not that fluent like a Hungarian. If you're a Hungarian, you want a coach. I mean, it's more likely you're going to go with someone that's more fluent than me. Yeah, I'm ridiculously low on time here. White is not playing like 1,000 player. I don't know what his rating is about, but he's played well. Well, he just freaked out. Damn, dude, almost made me have a heart attack. See, this is about playing for time. Like, you're trying to flag me. What are you doing? You can't flag me in increment time control. Rule number 1 is you never play for time with an increment. This is like a 1 second increment. Maybe with a 1 second increment, I can condone playing for time. You just threw your position away to try to beat me on the clock. Of course you would beat me if it was no increment, but I wouldn't let my clock get that low if it was that the case, so. He had compensation. I wouldn't even call it a blunder. I mean, it seems like he went nuts because he thought I was going to lose on time, so he tried to make the fastest moves he could think of. Totally random. Losing a piece with bishop h7. We'll just trade pieces when we're off a piece. But I mean, it's pointless now. Yeah, he played a good game. Till bishop takes h7 check. Through c4, I like the way that he played. We can take a look and see what the evaluation was of the position after c4. I think that white isn't worse. After the game is over. I don't do the evil chess site. No, I don't like chess.com. I never really liked the people that started it. And I don't like the software. I don't like the way it looks. I never liked it. I'm anti-chess.com. You won't find me playing over there, ever. Though when it started, I played a few games. I tried it. It's like chess for dummies. Yeah, the Puzzle Rush is like the only good thing they ever had. It's very popular. It is a good idea, you know. Something appealing to people. It's like addictive. I have an account, but I don't ever go there. It's against my principles. Alright. We should take all of his pawns and make him resign. We've been through this once today already. It's a trendy sort of thing. I'm just going to set the limit at 2 queens. We had the same with Rapunzel. I'm not going to make the 3rd queen. That's just rude. It's okay to never resign. I think as long as you stick to that, you know, and you're ubiquitous. I knew a guy, and I'm not making a judgment on it, who was nearly a master. He was like high 2100s, and he never ever resigned until mate. I had an incredible score against him, actually. He's like my best all-time score. My performance rating against the guy must be like 2600. I beat him every single game, like 10 games. He always played out till mate. He's the only like near master who I beat every single game over extended, with never a draw. No names, but if you're consistent about it and you don't ever resign, I don't think it's unsportsmanlike. If you just do it because you're mad, then it's kind of unsportsmanlike. We lost our last challenge. One guy was here and he left. So I'm going to take Jim's challenge. He's a subscriber. Then Boom Mighty. These guys are challenging to the wrong time control. Uncle and Firebender. Firebender, you were in the stream, but you don't have any games. I normally don't play people who are unrated. We'll take subscriber first, then non-provisional accounts. Boom, who has an established rating. But I don't like playing people who are unrated. Get 100 games and come back. People tend to troll me. They'll like use engines and stuff. Now what are we going to play? I said I would play unusual openings. It's hard to play something unusual now. But let's try. Let's try. Let's try something. Let's try something. Well, normally this wouldn't be played here, but let's try it anyway. Bishop G5. I never played this move. This is experimental. But normally I wouldn't do this with C4 necessarily. I would do it like D4, Bishop G5 without C4. With C4 in, we've had a lot of games with Jim where I'm like taking on F6, but I'm not going to do that now, particularly with the weak dark squares. I've probably played this position. He could play knight e4, but I don't really like that move. Oh, I just said I was going to promote the bishop and knight. COVID is making me lose my... Can you lose your memory? No, I don't have COVID yet. Hopefully I don't get it. But I am playing in a tournament on Friday. I'm going to try to be careful. H6 provoking bishop takes S6. And if bishop H4, G5 is good for black, I guess. No. Yeah, actually, Troll and a Roll is right. I said I would promote the bishop and knight. It's just not in your mind, you know? I promised, but I lied. I just forgot. Do I like the update of not showing the rating if he has showed very less games? You know what? Maybe. Maybe it's a good idea. Did they do away with the 1500? Because I don't like the 1500, the arbitrary 1500 they just put there. Like, what is that? Did God write 1500 on a tablet and put it on top of a mountain or something? Like, why? Why the random 1500? The Lord has spoken and made anonymous people be 1500. That always disturbed me. You know, it was like, I start thinking that people are 1500 when they're like masters. Yeah, just don't put anything. How did I end up in Budapest? Well, I was doing this, I always have different jokes. The first joke was that I was escaping from Al-Qaeda. That was like in the early 2000s. Then Then it was like to get away from Donald Trump. But that's getting boring. So now I just tell people that I came to Budapest so that I could offer a discount in chess lessons. The lower cost of living here keeps my overhead at a minimum, so I can pass the savings on to the consumer. A3 with bishop f4, kind of a weird setup, but I'm trying to frustrate his bishop. Well, the truth is that I came here to play chess. I talked about this yesterday, but okay, the United States is more expensive than Central Europe. At least it used to be a lot more expensive. Is it poor outside the city center? I mean, Hungary is very poor, much more poor outside of Budapest, although there are other cities like Pécs and Szeged and Győr that are pretty civilized. If you go to like a village, of course it's much more poor. But I mean, the same can be said for America. America, if you go outside, in rural areas, they're much more poor. And that's true in any country. But I came here to play chess originally. But Schieberspieler, I came here in 96, 97, 98. That's cool. I didn't hear about that possible chess Olympiad in 2024 in honor of Biden's re-election. That'd be cool. But in all seriousness, knight f3, bishop. I'm sorry, knight f3, knight h5, bishop, knight, whatever. So it's like a queen's gambit now. We tricked Jim into playing the black side of the queen's gambit. Or queen's Indian with d5. But how do I like the UK? It's expensive, Is the UK even more expensive than the United States? What's the comparison, I wonder? Probably comparable. Yeah, London's really expensive. I've been to the UK a few times. I've played a number of tournaments, but not recently. Not in the last 10 years. So what do I do? Well, if like Hungary does something crazy, like ends up leaving the European Union, I might leave Hungary. We'll see what the political future holds. I don't think I'd want to stay here if it wasn't in the European Union. There's a lot of political stuff here too. But in general, I came to Hungary to play chess. I was saying on the stream the other day that chess culture is not as strong in the United States as it is in Europe. So two things, like chess is more popular in Europe, more respected than it is in the United States. And secondly, it's like slightly less expensive, of course, to live here. When I first came to Hungary in the late 90s, it was really, really cheap, I played in a tournament in 96 at Lake Balaton. And then in 97 I came to play some IM tournaments. I made my second IM norm in Budapest. And then I moved back to the United States in 1999 and lived there for like 5 years back home. But I always liked Hungary. It's a lot different than it was, in the late 90s. I was born in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia area, but I ended up living in Massachusetts. My last state of residence. I've always lived in the Northeast. But now I'm homeless. I'm homeless in America. I like the lack of gun control. What's one good thing about Budapest, like not everyone has guns. Even in Boston I was like, oh, man, what am I doing here? I got distracted. Boston is a fairly safe city, but even in Boston I was like kind of nervous. Sometimes I feel much safer in Budapest than American City. Less car thefts. I had 2 cars stolen in the United States. Less mass shootings and car theft. Don't even get me started about like healthcare. No, they were actually not Hondas. But it's always like someone who's like drugged out. Not like professional car thieves. Like drugged out junkies like stealing my car. Today I saw an article how people had to wait in line for 11 hours to vote in Texas. The greatest country in the world. Not. Nice move, Jim, with the tactic. Grab the pawn. Pawn grabber from way back. We have a lot of problems here in Hungary. In every country in the world probably, but I'm just very disappointed with the way the United States has gone. I mean, I love my home, but healthcare is out of control. What is this? Jim, what are you doing? Bishop takes e6. Costs too much to get an education in the United States. Housing costs too much. It's like the housing market. Crazy. It's almost unlivable. I can't afford to live in the United States. That's the truth. At least as a chess player. That c5 check. I forgot I'm down a pawn. I was thinking I got my material back. He stole 2 pawns. What's that, troll? New York and LA? You don't have to live in the big city, of course. But I mean, it's hard, you know? I mean, I've lived... It would be hard at my age to, like, move to a totally new place, you know? If I want to live in the United States and move to, like, I don't know, Maine or something, or some random place, like New Mexico. Like, I wouldn't know. I might as well be, like, living on the moon. You have rook down? Dude, stop and leave me alone. Oh my god, this doesn't work. I'm just lost. You guys distracted me with the chat. Jim lets me win. Thanks, Jim. He's like, I got a winning position. I'll let my clock run out now. Bishop takes h6, drops a piece. Duh. No, it's equal. I have compensation for the sacrificed pawn. I figured that much. I have a strong pawn on e4. But, this just doesn't work. I missed rook a1 with bishop takes f7 check. So I'm lost after bishop h6. What happened? Your mouse froze? You feel sorry for me, so you let me win on time. Boom Mighty. Alright, Boom Mighty. Uncle gotta re-challenge me to non-rated. The goal of today is to play unusual openings. Bishop takes h6 is a blunder. It drops a piece. Easy. So, we try to play the Dutch. No. I got distracted. Talking too much. This is a good move. I'm supposed to play like h6, g5. I've played this a little bit with white, although I don't really know the theory very well. I know Simon Williams plays e4. I absolutely don't know this. Traditionally, like, that move was considered to be inaccurate. But again, like, don't ask me why. I really have no clue. I've played e3 myself. I know that's more considered sound. So, do I do like d6 or something? I remember Simon having a game like in the Chess Informant or something. Maybe d6, queen h5 check? No, that doesn't work, does it? I can't do d6 because queen h5 check, king d7, and then he plays bishop takes g5. That doesn't work. So how does it work? I play knight f6, e5. Pawn takes h4, pawn takes f6. That doesn't look great for black. Now I have to figure this out. Is there a sound of water banging in a sink? There's raindrops. There's that 70s song. Raindrops are falling. You know, the elevator music troll. We've had like a Noah's Ark style flood here. 60 hours of rain continuously. I had to bail out the house with buckets. Yeah, I don't know. Obviously pawn takes bishop was made in one. Could even potentially play like king f7. King f7, queen h5 check, king g7. Bishop takes g5, pawn takes g5, queen g5. That's like perpetual or something, if I'm lucky. But I don't know the theory. Knight f6, e5. I don't remember that either, being a line. The last time I checked, this variation had been... Maybe bishop g7 has to be the move. Check, king f8. Then he has bishop c4. I don't know. What's up with bishop g7? It's funny, Ginger GM just went live. We'll have to ask him. Two IM, so Danis is here. Oh, I don't know. I'm not going to look at what Danis said. '70s elevator music. It's like a famous soft elevator music song. It's something that I listened to in The Dentist in like 1979. Typically. I'm not a GM. How old? In the future. On Friday I make my first GM norm. I begin my first GM norm on Friday. And then we get the next one next year. Post-COVID. I could be the first post-COVID Grandmaster. If I make it before I'm 50, I think that would be an accomplishment. So bishop g7, queen h5 check, king f8. And then if bishop g3, I trap his bishop with f4. Again, I don't know any theory here. And I'm sure that Simon Williams knows what he's doing. $2,400 FM. FM is now 2,300, and you get FM automatically. It used to be a real title. They cheapened it. In recent years. The Schieberspieler is legit. Schieberspieler would have earned it anyway eventually. But most of these cheap modern FMs, a lot of them don't really deserve to be FMs. They're like 2,300 because they were overrated or something. So I don't know what happens here in this line. What is it, like a draw by repetition? If I play F4? Wait, I have knight F6. Knight F6, Queen G6, F4, E5. I mean, I don't know what's going on here. You got tricked by yourself. Senior FM. Maybe I don't take the bishop. I just take a central pawn. The reality is that may be not necessarily the best move. F4, E5, in a lot of variations, or I can just take here with a knight, maybe. What did I expect him to play? Bishop C4, threatening mate. You know what though? I missed Queen E8. Though still he has Queen F3 there, it's a very confusing situation. Maybe Bishop C4, Queen E8, Queen F3, but I mean, it's looking very confusing. But Simon probably knows this, I would assume. F4 going after his bishop. Changed my mind. I said I was going to play the other move, but I don't know. It's really hard to decide. It's not like I'm simply winning a piece. E5. Now I'm winning a piece. Now we should be winning. He can't trade queens and lose a piece. I mean, he's going to have a hard time. But I mean, Schieberspieler definitely become an IM. But even if you had to get the old school requirements, Schieberspieler, which was like maintain 2,300 over 27 games, which I think it was 27. You know, I mean, that way it's more sure. There's too many kids who, like, with a 40K factor, momentarily go over 2,300 and they don't deserve it. That's not the case with you, though. I mean, you deserve it. But I know a lot of players who are like 2,100 who, this is going to be tricky. I'm going to have to play actively here. We'll have to give back some material, I was thinking. Now I should be winning. Eventually. We are up the piece. Maybe it's not that easy. But Schieberspieler deserves to be 2300. The problem is people who like get 2300 just because of a lucky tournament or two, and then they're like FMs who are 2150. I mean, that's ridiculous. There should be no like young 2150 FMs. There was one guy on my team like that. That's crazy. The FIDE changes the title requirements to make it easier for them to charge more money for people to pay for their titles or whatever. It's corruption. Just classic corruption. Yeah, I mean, he's not a bad player, but he doesn't deserve to be an FM. Exactly. I mean, that's ridiculous. You know, for example, he's like 2200 maximum, and he's FIDE master because he got this like overrated first rating or whatever. Nothing against him. He's not a bad player, but he doesn't deserve to be an FM. That's just an example. Maybe eventually he'll get there, but the problem with the FIDE system, giving that title to people, is bogus. The old system was good. You had to get 2300 and you had to keep it for like 27 games. I did that in 1993. But the U.S. Chess Federation screwed me over, and they didn't request my title. Even though I deserved it in 1993, the Federation didn't request my FM title, so I didn't get the title. Then I went under 2300, and then I couldn't claim the title, and I didn't get it till like 1995. I had like 2330 for 27 games in 1993. I was so pissed. Because my federation wouldn't claim it, or just made a mistake or something. Ultimately, it doesn't really matter, but at the time I was pissed. My rook is trapped. Let's grab the H pawn. Eventually we're going to win. My king is going to blockade this. The blockader. Okay, I have bishop g1 there. Obviously a little stronger. This is a stupid move. But whatever. Eventually we're going to win. Now I have to do it all over again. Get my bishop to b6. Yep. The bishop and knight mate, we're not doing. Not this time. Is there a mate here? Stalemate, maybe. Only a stalemate. That's not mate. Hallucinated it was mate. Damn. It's not easy to get mate, is it? That was a long one. So let's just check the opening. I want to know this for the future, because I don't remember how black's supposed to play after e4. So I thought for how long here, without knowing the theory, 3 minutes. I spent 3 minutes on this position and played bishop g7. Right, well that's what I was afraid of, Dennis. Knight f6, e5. And I didn't think of e6. That makes sense. For some reason, we have a small sample size. You know, statistically, it's a very small sample size. Just 50 games with knight f6 and 32 games with bishop g7. Obviously, rook h7 is possible. Slightly awkward move. So, knight f6 down is the same, is like the established line. e5 and then e6. This hadn't occurred to me. So you temporarily sacrifice a piece so you can get it back. And your pawn structure doesn't get totally wrecked. I guess after ef6, queen f6, bishop g3, f4, and then we just, you know, essentially traded pieces. I don't know. Alexander the First. That's when there's like two of them with the same name, typically. But over the board, I thought bishop g7. You know, what's wrong with bishop g7? The engine actually likes it, though we can't really judge by that. The score for white is good, though. Like, if you look at the difference, white's score with knight f6 is like negative, and his score with bishop g7 is clearly plus. So there must be some tricky thing about bishop g7. But it's strange, when you look at it now, all of a sudden, oh crap, not a single good player played this line. So, if you guys ever use the Opening Explorer or a chess database program to study openings, you have to keep in mind, like, the sample, who's playing these games. Because the problem with the score, why does black have a bad score? Not because it's a bad position, because no good players played the line. The best player is Majud, you know, 2400. These guys are correspondence players. There's a strong correspondence player or two. And then 2400s. So basically, this is just not an established variation, but it looks like it's actually okay. It might even be better than knight f6. And now nobody plays queen h5 check. You're the first one. King f8, bishop g3. And as I said, my original intention, let's see, was to play knight f6 here. That's what I did. I didn't really think much about this. Wow, the computer has like totally other ideas. I mean, this could essentially be like a refutation of the variation. It looks better than... Well, okay, queen h5 is bad. He has to play bishop g3. I guess that's the point. He has to play bishop g3. And then the question is, what should black do? Eliminate the central pawn. Okay, so this is the problem. Now my king is not safe. And that's why the people playing black don't like it. Probably this line is difficult to play. The black king is shaky here. d5, Peter Schuster. There's another game of a 2200. I studied psychology. So hg5, knight c6. This is Robin Spinkel's. Yeah, maybe the line's not trustworthy. Okay, Uncle. The man called Uncle. So anyway, it was good to review a little bit what's supposed to happen in that variation, because I had no clue what I was doing. That's why I had to use 3 minutes. I don't think I ever thought about e4. I never considered playing it with white. It just looked too unclear. So, unusual openings focus today. What do we have? Try to play something interesting in the classical. In the classical world, okay, knight c6 maybe. It's a Nimzovich. French in honor of your win against me. Wait, that's not the French. That's the Philidor. So we played c3. After knight f6, we transposed to a Ponziani. What's up with knight f6? Pawn takes e5. Bishop g5 looks wrong. Here I can just play h6 and then bishop h4 g5. I'm skeptical. Yeah, you wanted me to play the French on move 1. Actually, for me, the French is unusual opening. I put in my Steinitz quote from my from the stream the other day. You saw that, Schieberspieler. The French is the most boringest of openings. Okay, he can play bishop g3 here. And then I guess I take on e4. He takes with the bishop. But I have knight takes e5. Yikes. It feels like I have to take on e4. But I guess I could have played pawn takes d4, then e5. This isn't that simple. Bishop takes e5. Possibly pawn takes e5. Yeah, Steinitz wasn't being fair to the French defense. I just thought it was a funny quote to troll you guys to play the French defense. It's funny though, because in Steinitz's era, wasn't everybody playing like the exchange variation? If you think about it, not always. I mean, Steinitz actually was one of the creators of theory in the classical French, for example, with White. But of course, in the 1800s, everybody played the exchange variation against the French. That's pretty boring. It's not the French's fault. People are playing the exchange variation against it. I guess we take the pawn. We have the bishop pair already, so bishop goes to g7. Obviously this is a critical variation, but I was unconvinced that White has anything here. And we have knight b3 check, mate, rook d1. I have to check him now before it's too late. Is my knight trapped? Knight takes b2 check. No, I take with the queen and I've got knight f2, so he has to take with the king. And White is just down a pawn with a bad position. You think, Schieberspieler? I like how, well, Tarash isn't as old as Steinitz, was he? Tarash should be younger than Steinitz, but of course they played together. Tarash is a younger generation. But, I'm saying, like, early part of Steinitz's career, when he was young, they were still playing that exchange variation. Knight takes b2. He's greedy. Lessons in greed. Greedy. Knight takes b2. Rook b1, knight a4. But I guess objectively, greed is good. He doesn't care. Well, he's starting knight g5, but I'm playing this. I'm defending my g-pawn by threatening bishop takes rook. Defending bishop takes rook. This is on. I got knight back to a4. And we're on c3. Yeah, it's likely right. So Tarish is the first one to come up with knight b2. Absolutely. I mean, maybe some obscure player played it first, but not a good one. Or else they wouldn't have named it the Tarash. Obviously. So what do I do? You're threatening my c7 pawn. It's not very nice. And the f5 square. So I'm planning king d8. I think a very tactical player would probably think about the position differently. Legion. Will it be broadcast? Yeah, sadly. The organizer of this tournament has had a number of similar events, and never there's been a broadcast. So, I'm not optimistic. With the knight b3, he's being a troublemaker. Okay, I'm hallucinating to play bishop e5 check. Alright, we should just get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, unfortunately the Friday tournament, I seriously doubt to be a broadcast. I've played in 2 of his events in the last couple of years. They don't normally have VGT boards. Sadly. We'll just have to follow, you guys will just have to follow the results, I guess. That's all there is to it. I'm starting a tournament on Friday. One of the lowest rated players in a closed 10-player all-play-all. But I think I have a good chance. I'm underrated. At this point, I think people could start overpressing against me because they think that I'm weaker than I am. That's something a lot of young players benefit from, but I normally don't get that. But it's possible it starts to happen because my ELO rating is so stupid. I'm hoping that people start, trying too hard to beat me. I didn't check. I think I need 6.5. Uncle is really a good defender. Got the positional lockdown on f5. We're up 2 pawns. I mean, black should be winning, of course, but it takes some technique. They did something unusual. They drew the lots before the tournament started. And I got the number 1, which is like the best pairing number. A4. That actually works. Now knight b5. Bishop b5. Bishop b5. I can't trap a piece, though. I'm winning a lot of pawns. He's not a quitter. And if I take on c3, I'll lose my h6 pawn. Black's remarkably defending. I guess I ought to keep it simple. Huh. GMs prefer number 5. Cheaper Spiller knows everything. Wait, what are you talking about? They fought for it? Damn. What's happening here? He should be winning, but he's so determined in defense. The K-star. K-star. He got the best number. Of course, he doesn't need it. He already has his GM norm title. Pawn is strong. Pawn is strong. Very determined defense by white in this game. It's a weird position. Knight f6 check. King g7. Seriously determined. Bishop a3 is hard to stop. Zani is not popular today. Alright. Ludlud, my forfeit giving opponent from yesterday. You missed the tournament or you were late. In the final wasn't trading rooks wasn't rook d6 working. Chesteroid. What am I drinking? Iced tea. No alcohol before noon. Oh, it's past noon. It's almost 1 o'clock. No, it's work. This is work time for me. But I mean, the good thing is that I got 5 whites and 4 blacks. Like the last 3 Grandmaster Norm tournaments I played in, I got 5 blacks and 4 whites. So it's like a miracle that I could get 5 whites. But my last tournament in August, I lost twice with white, and that was sort of disturbing. Normally white is an advantage. I think I'm getting more blacks than usual in the last couple of years, though. I seem to have black way more than white almost every tournament. Again, last tournament, again the tournament before that. It's weird. And in my team games, I've had black way more than white. A4 is a highly unusual move. I'm not sure how to react to A4. Yeah, black won 4 games, white won none. That's messed up in my tournament. In my games. The only thing I can say is that my openings with black they might be better worked out than my openings with white. I don't know. Also, I'm playing too much harmless stuff. But that's not why I lost. I actually lost a mainline Queen's Gambit with white, and I lost a Joker Piano with white. So I didn't play like Knight f3 and g3 and lose some harmless stuff. It may be that my openings black are better developed. I think that oftentimes chess players take for granted playing white a little bit and prepare better with black. This is weird. I've never seen anyone play A4 in a Queen's Indian. It started out as a London, but it's actually transposed to a Miles Queen's Indian, with like Bishop F4, where white just like randomly played A4. Good pun from Chesteroid. Schieberspieler. Magnus Carlsen's gonna get. He's gonna get jealous. Yes, you're pretty solid, I would say. Maybe I ought to play like G6 at some point. So now I have the classic Knight H5 idea. Going for the bishop pair. But I think it's a little overrated. You don't care, you played bishop e5. Well, that's all part of the bargain. It's a free move for me. Thank you. Very generous of you, Ludlud. Give me that free move. Appreciate it. Now bishop h4. If castles bishop h4, bishop takes f3. No. Bishop takes h4. Knight takes h4. Queen h4. Bishop h5. I think I ought to just take his bishop while I can. Bishop, we love bishops. My knight on a6 is kind of sad. Sad. It's gonna have to play from the side. The vulture. Circling. Buzzard. Well, I mean, I'm saying two bishops are overrated. You know. But I also have won more games with the bishop pair than any other single concept in tournament chess. It's like saying that online poker is rigged, but I'm up 6 figures. It seems contradictory. But it's still overrated, and computer especially, Stockfish in particular, overrates. Stockfish overrates the two bishops pretty heavy, and other engines might not quite so much. It depends on the chess engine. See, immediately he plays the right move, or an interesting idea, which is to trade off my bishop pair with bishop f3. If he trades off my bishop pair, he eliminates the bishop pair of the tandem, and he can focus his entire game on putting his pawns in the right color, making my dark square bishop bad, potentially. See? So now we have to think. I don't want to trade. So I have two options, c6 or d5. d5 seems a little more aggressive. Maybe we still play c6 subsequently. This is an important concept. The bishop pair, you keep him on the board, and then hopefully this dark square bishop will get in, you know, to the game later. But I know that personally, I used to overrate the bishops, and I became aware of it. You know, Schieberspieler may be likely to do it too, because he has heavy reliance on the advantage of the two bishops. I used to just think that like anytime I had the bishop here, I automatically had an advantage. You have to be more circumspect than that. But Lulu is defending well. Not so easy for black here. We don't know too much about Lulu as a player. I have a perfect score, but I don't really remember the games that much. Knight a3. There are certain players. Yeah, like Hikaru Nakamura will claim that knights are better than bishops in bullet chess because they fork people and they're tricky, you know. He also claimed that 2 rooks are better than a queen, but he's talking about specifically like tricking people in bullet chess or whatever, you know. Objectively, bishops are better than knights. I'm not talking about playing tricky moves in bullet chess. C5. I don't know if this is the right idea or not. Now, can my dark square bishop become a factor? You know, and where would it be relevant here? So you have to think that way. How does that Jolly Joker, that's my friend Emil's term, how does that extra bishop that the white player doesn't have, how does it enter the game effectively and just dominate? Or is it a ghost and irrelevant? Because that can happen too. Now, an amazing move by white, e4. Amazingly good or amazingly bad? I don't know. Alls I know is Arthur Bisgeier said that you pays your money and you takes your choice. Which was a carnival saying. You can pick your prize or whatever. Bishop takes b2, rook b1. Do you want the stuffed bunny or the dolly? I don't know. What about bishop a6 and c4? There's so many choices here. I could also just recapture on d5. Schieberspieler probably likes that. Bishop takes d5, just simple, straightforward. Dominant bishop versus knight. Actually, it looks pretty strong. Bishop takes d5. Bishop takes d5, knight b3. Again, I don't really want to trade my bishops off, to be honest. There's also bishop a6. So we have to consider bishop b2, bishop d5, bishop a6. There's all these different moves. How do I decide? Astrobate, nice quote. We saw that earlier. Astrobate's like the quote master. Bishop b2 giving me 2 connected passed pawns. Then rook b1. Then what? What do I do? I don't know. Maybe bishop c3? I'm leaving him with 2 passed pawns. Isolated. And I have 2 connectors. I really don't know what the best move is. I almost chose at random there. Usually the connected pawns are better than the isolated ones. So he keeps his rook on a2, keeping this protected. Refutes is really fast. I may have a tactic to try to trap the exchange, but this move is amazing too because it also protects e2 and some variations where I'm going bishop here. Like, I never expected rook a2. It could be hit by bishop d5 in some lines. It could get hit by the b pawn advancing, but it's laterally relevant and it protects a4. And he didn't want to leave his a pawn just protected by the queen. Right. Well, the whole idea of the opening, when I get the bishop pair, is to make that dark square bishop a dominant winning force. Queenless. Okay, so the first thought was bishop a6. I can win the exchange here. Knight c3, bishop f1. Take back on c3. He's got a very strong pawn on d5 there, you know. He can also play bishop takes d5, but then he's got the tactic. Bishop d5, queen d5, knight f6, check, take. Bishop takes d5. Man, it's scary. This was my original plan. The bishop is the master of his own destiny. Now d5 is juicy. And so his pawns remain weak. I have the b pawn. My bishop is hard to challenge. I have bishop a6. Threats. Still winning the exchange? No. So that's out. Killer bees. What's this? Tactical tricks. It looks like. Oof. Setting up nasty tactics with the back rank for me. Knight takes c5. Does that work? I'm getting confused. You have knight takes c5. Did you have that? It's hard to believe that this can be the right move. Do I take on a4? Rook? Yeah, it's a mouse slip. Yes. He was... Yeah, he was in trouble, I guess. No matter what. But I was wondering if he had knight takes c5. It doesn't work. I have rook takes e2. If rook takes e2, bishop takes f2 check. Doesn't work. Because his rook takes, oh no. Take here, and then bishop takes f2. Alright, that didn't work. But that was instructive. So we have one more challenge. Who is this guy? Who is A13611385? Whose number is that? I don't know. Let's try to get another challenge. He's busy playing. Anybody else want to play a game? I don't want to like be part of a simul. He's playing Bullet or something. Who is this person? Who are you? 1898. Fide. No Schieberspieler. Uncle's re-challenging. Alright. I just don't want to play someone who's playing another game. That's just kind of weird. Unusual openings today. G4. G4 H5. The Grob. You'll get white and lose your first game in 2 years, Schieberspieler. Oh, that sounds like something DK guy would say. No, he's lost online games. Believe me. He's just talking about... This is interesting. This is a line that's supposed to be okay for white, but in reality it's not great for white. Yeah. I'm trying to remember the line now. The engine says this is terrible for white. I had it once in a tournament game at the National Open in Vegas. 1995. A 2000 player played this against me. I don't remember how it went though. I guess I'm supposed to take back. Knight c6. Don't blunder queen a4 check. Not a blunder. I think he's actually... I thought he was actually supposed to play queen b3. I'm not sure. It seems to me that the other move was theory. But I guess you're saying don't drop the bishop on g4. That's the serious tip here. Don't forget about your bishop. So queen d7, queen d7. You know, white has compensation. So I have to play bishop d7. This doesn't really seem familiar. Something I did wrong already, I think. I mean, black's got a good game, but this is not the variation I remember studying. Queen c8 is materialistic. Knight c6, queen b7. I can't decide. I have problems making decisions. Knight c6, queen b7, or e6, queen b7, or queen c8, knight c3, e6. I feel like in the line with knight c3 he's gaining time. With knight c6 I can keep my central majority. I want to keep my central pawn. Well, either way I'm keeping it. Give him this one. Keep the central pawn on d5. Now rook b8, queen a6. Is it possible I'm just winning? Chess is an easy game. Dude loses his queen here? Not exactly. Not recommended. It's the best I've got, I'm afraid. Best I can come up with. It's not that we're afraid to lose. We don't like losing. There's a distinct difference. It's not that we're afraid of it, we just don't enjoy it. Now, can we trap his queen? There's too many squares available. The problem is if rook e8, queen b7. But I could play queen c8. Then I'll lose a different square. I don't see anything better than taking the material. Yeah, it's the Grob. The Grob. The Grob is bad. Practical decision to take on d5. But that's tempo. Temporizing. The Grob is not a good opening. I will not play the Grob ever in a serious game. The Grob is like one of the worst openings ever. So next season you'll be board 1. I don't know, the way my performance was last season, I might not be board 1 anymore. My team sucks, but I didn't play that many games and I didn't win any, I don't think. And my rating is really pathetic now. So I don't know if I'm going to be on the same team. We'll see. Honestly. The one thing I've noticed about Uncle is that he really fights hard. It's like reeling in a large fish. You know? And he's fast. And he doesn't care if he has a bad position. My knight is kind of trapped here. A lot of people like give up hope when they have a bad game. They're the easiest people to beat. You gotta fight tough. There's a Coffee Chess FM on YouTube who plays the Grob. Yeah, Grob is horrible. Can we trap his queen? Easier said than done. I don't think so. But today's my fun opening stream. That's assuming my opponent, you know, doesn't normally play the Grob necessarily. He's just doing it to be part of the community. My knight is trapped. It's also really fast. 1300 classical based on 4 games. 1826 rapid. Well, that's a lot of games. 10,000. Very, very serious rating. Statistically relevant. I guess he doesn't play classical. Actually, I have e5. It's probably nothing special though than knight g5. It's really hard to get at his king. Maybe rook d8 at some point could give us some opportunities. He has good control of the e4 square. Your coach told you not to play anything under 5 minutes. It's a good idea. I don't see the point, you know. The coach has some common sense. Bullet chess is like an addiction. While 3 minute may not be that bad, I don't really see the need for it. And most of the games that I play in 3 minute are utter rubbish for both sides. I would tend to agree with your coach. Too much prophylaxis. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just making random moves. He can't take on g7. So I thought. If you don't do that, you trade and play maybe b3. You're still in the game. Yeah, a lot of people are discouraged to play classical games online because their opponents cheat or disconnect. There are various problems, which is understandable. You know, there's nothing worse than like playing a, I don't know, 1 hour game and then having your opponent like disconnect halfway through it or something. I'm gonna put a lot of material here. Yeah. But I would recommend rapid. I think that's pretty ideal. If you can play reliable people who won't disconnect and they'll be sportsmanlike, it's great. You know, if you can find people you know to play long games, it's good training. Grob is dead. Grob dead. He's a fighter, not a lover. The ultimate fighter. Okay, and like bullet, of course. White has practical chances in bullet. Three minute is garbage. 1 minute is a joke. I agree. Like, I think, like, realistically, if you want to play chess, you shouldn't play faster than 5-0. I don't see any need for it, you know? It just teaches you to play superficially, too. So, alright, guys, I'm going to be back tomorrow night with a subscriber stream. We take 10 games from the subscribers that are submitted to my lichess account here, Sparkle Horse. I think I've got about 5 now, so if anybody else wants to play, wants to submit games for the Thursday night stream at 6:30 CEST, I'll be here. Then I'm playing chess from Friday onward for 9 days over the board. Wish me good luck in my GM Norm tournament. I might surprise us. Maybe I'll do well. I've got to focus, and I'm not going to be streaming much for the 9 days subsequent to Thursday, so the stream will be kind of quiet. After Thursday, I might be able to do 1 or 2 short streams next week. We will see. So thank you for the good luck. I'll see you guys tomorrow night for a subscriber stream. Bye bye. Say bye. Say bye, Panda. Bye, Panda. Bye bye.